So, sitting at home, bored from the coronavirus, pulled out one of my old books from George Wiseman, eagleresearch.com. He makes Brown's gas generators. I used to play around with them a lot for my car and everything else. Well, he uses them now for using Brown's gas as a healing property. What it's basically doing is breaking apart water into pure hydrogen, H2 molecule gas, and into O2 molecule gas. So you're getting pure oxygen. It's only about 20% oxygen in the atmosphere. With this thing, you're going to get pure O2, higher doses of it. And being with this coronavirus going around, I figured, I guess it couldn't be bad breathing that in. So basically, his circuit, to limit the amperage, we're going to use a capacitor in series with your black wire on your AC line coming out of your wall socket. The white would be your neutral. So you plug it into the capacitor, then you come out of the capacitor with your black hot into a bridge rectifier, and your neutral on the opposite side of the bridge rectifier. On the back of the bridge rectifier, you're going to have your negative, and on the top of the bridge rectifier, you're going to have your positive DC. So it's just basically 4 diodes in a pack. You'll connect your negative DC and your positive DC to your series cell generator, which is just a series of stainless steel plates not touching each other. Of course, each of them have a gap in between each one, but you'll touch one plate here and one plate here, and you'll fill it with water with an electrolyte, which I'm using sodium hydroxide, and it'll allow electrons to pass through the water much easier when you have a salt in there. And you'll get HHO gas, H2O2 gas coming out. And this capacitor is your safety feature, which is going to limit the amount of current this pulls, because it's basically a short. So, if we look over here, I have my bridge rectifier. I have my 2 AC lines coming in. So my black runs into the capacitor and back out of the capacitor to the bridge rectifier. My neutral, the white, comes in to the opposite side of the bridge rectifier. Then the back of the bridge rectifier, I have my negative, and on the front, I'll have my positive. My positive comes around to my cell, and my negative runs around to the opposite side of my cell. And inside this PVC pipe, I have a series of round stainless steel plates. And you can see it's forming gas. That's a little rubber stopper so I can fill it up. And being that I'm letting the gas out, I'm not really holding any pressure in here. Just whatever back pressure I have from my check valve. So gas can only flow one way and not come back the opposite way, because I have it going into a bubbler. So the gas comes down the tube, bubbles up through distilled water, back out through this chamber. And I have another check valve here, comes up back around into an air stone, and I bubble it in the water. Now, this is your H2O2 gas coming out. What he says is you're charging this water with hydrogen ions and oxygen ions. It'll saturate itself into the distilled water. But also that gas, you could be breathing this gas. So they also have apparatuses that you can plug in. Instead of an air stone, you can plug it in to where it goes into your nostrils, and you can just breathe it for a certain amount of time. Also, the pH of this water will rise as it's absorbing the hydrogen and oxygen gases. And I've done that. I've taken the pH from 6.8 all the way up to 8.4. Then you can drink that water, and apparently you're going to get the hydrogen ions that your body can use for health benefits. He has all the literature and everything and videos on his website at eagleresearch.com. So I'm limiting this to 4.6 amps DC. going to my cell with 120 microfarad capacitor, which I have, and it has to be an AC run capacitor because we're going through alternating current. So you can't just have any capacitor. It has to be an AC run capacitor. You find them in air conditioning units, things for startup motors inside of garages for like grinders and chop saws. They'll have an AC run capacitor set in line with it. Mine's 120 microfarad, 370 volts AC alternating current. And that's the one that connects to your alternating current line. That just plugs into my wall. Yeah, so I was bored, so I'm making myself that. So they're saying that this coronavirus makes it very hard for you to breathe, which in turn, you'll lack oxygen into the body. So if I can get a pure source of oxygen to breathe in, along with the benefits of the hydrogen gas, why not? Now also, be careful. This is very, very flammable. Of course, it's being diluted and hydrogen's very light. It just takes off in the atmosphere. But I'm in a very well ventilated room with open windows, and I'm not producing that much. And my cell is only taking about 36 volts because that's how many series cells I have in it. So I'm only having about 36 volts at 4 amps. And when you do the calculation, 4.6 amps. So 36 times 4.6, it's roughly going to be around 150 watts, 160 watts, somewhere around there. So I'm not pulling a lot of current or a lot of energy to produce this amount of gas. I don't know, just something I threw together, bored, and figure I could use it just in case I get sick. It'll help me get oxygen into my body. I got a lot of other crazy things I do, but let me know. All right, just in case you're curious, this is a bridge rectifier. And you can see it has this, all 4 corners are kind of square. But if you see, this one has like a slight angle to it. And it has it right there. That's your positive. And then on this one, it says AC. That's for your alternating current. So you're going to put your alternating current here and here. This is your positive. It's going the opposite direction of these. These are all facing the same direction. This one's not, so that's your positive. This would be your negative in the back. And then here's where your 2 AC lines will connect. One from your capacitor and one from your neutral. Doesn't matter which side you put the AC on. But this is your positive and this is your negative. Just thought I'd show you that. And this is just a little aluminum heat sink. And I screwed it on there just so it pulls any heat away from this bridge rectifier. And these things are about $5. And the heat sink was like another $1. And that's it. I think this is good for 50 amps at 400 volts, 600 volts at 50 amps. That's its rating. There's its part number. You can look it up. All right, because there's no other markings anywhere else on it. But those are your markings, positive, AC, and that's basically how it would sit like this to that picture. There's your positive, your 2 ACs, and there's your negative. All right, easy enough. All right, so I got my reverse osmosis water is pH'd at 7.4 right out of the tap. I'll check this. Which is my HHO generator, making hydrogen and oxygen gas. So we just have capacitive amperage limiting, a bridge rectifier, going to multiple stainless steel plate cells in here on each side, and they are bridged right here in the center. So we're not connecting to that lead because I have 120 volts DC coming out of the bridge rectifier. But
Comes out.
Got a quick disconnect. Then I have a check valve right here. One-way check valve. Comes into my bubbler. Comes out to another quick disconnect. To another check valve. Which comes over here to my stainless steel airstone bubbler. I just put this in there so I'm seeing what it's going down to. So we're at 7, pH of 7 right now. So I'm going to let it stabilize and then I'll check the pH, which should come up on this reverse osmosis water. And it should saturate with oxygen and hydrogen into the water. And this is breathable for George Wiseman. Check him out at Eagle Research. Guy knows his stuff.